What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals. We are here. Thank you, Movie Meal patrons, Kimberly and Karen, for supporting the show. Um, we have summer merch that came out in the summer, and Kyle and I, very late, are putting it on a discount. So it's still available, and you can get 20% off. Use the code MOVIES. And actually, I think it's just movie. Just movie. Plural doesn't work, or if movie doesn't work, try the plural version. Do a little English while you're at it. And get 20% off. I'm all over the place. Broke my AirPods. Don't feel good. I'm ready to go crawl. We're here for Last Night in Soho, a movie Kyle has shut up about in a year and a half. I've been hearing about it. I said to my girlfriend like 2 weeks ago, I was like, Last Night in Soho is about to come out, and I bet you Kyle's just pumped. And Thursday came around, and I get home, and she's like, "Hey, is Kyle?" Because we were gonna go see it, and Kyle was like, or she said, "Did Kyle talk to you at all about Last Night at Soho?" And I was like, the first thing this guy texted me today is, "I am so pumped for Last Night in Soho." So let's get into it. Let's start with the man, the myth, the legend, the stallion himself, Kyle, repping the old merch. Go get that, teespring.com, 20% off. Use promo code movie. Could be movies, who knows? Try both ways. Find my trash can. Kyle, what were your positives? Edgar writes, Last Night in Soho. You're doing a little horror, doing a little crazy stuff. Anya Taylor-Joy, the girl from that movie with Taika. What's that movie? Jojo Rabbit. She was great in. So,
Thomas and McKenzie. Yeah.
Yes, he knows actresses because he has to. All right, Kyle, what'd you think of the movie?
Well, like Alex was saying, I came in being really excited for this movie. I've been wanting to see it for a long time. And I got to say, I was not disappointed by this. The description that you were getting, Alex, was encompassing all these weird aspects of this movie that don't seem like on instinct that they would mesh together. We have a little bit of horror, we have a little bit of supernatural elements, some mystery, some thriller aspects to it. And yet Edgar Wright somehow blends it all together, and he makes a great movie out of it. I had a great time. He was able to, like you were saying, have all those different elements, but he also was able to encompass what seems like his love of London, and encompass movies of like the 60s. I believe maybe even some Italian films of the 60s, since he's such a big film buff. But what I really appreciate about at the center of it was that it just told a personal story about a young girl who's trying to break out from her small town sheltered lifestyle and trying to prove to herself that she can be, this big time city girl where she can get into the fashion industry and make a statement for herself and prove to herself that she's bigger than something that she's already thought of herself prior. And I really like that it was that type of story combined with those elements of her somehow being able to teleport back in time and witnessing a woman, a singer who's trying to make it big in like the nightclub scene as a singer, and she's also trying to kind of, that other woman played by Anya Taylor-Joy kind of encompass is what she strives to be. So I like this kind of mirroring aspect going between both of these characters, but when things really start taking a turn, it gets into, that murder aspect that we were really digging with, and the horror elements of it all. So it was a very strange movie because you wouldn't think these elements could work so well, but Edgar Wright, to me, manages to pull it off, and he is able to get great performances out of Thomas and McKenzie and Anna Taylor-Joy, who play different characters, but yet they kind of go on almost similar journeys of like trying to bring themselves out from underneath themselves, if that makes any sort of sense. They're trying to prove something of themselves. So it just was very fascinating to watch this movie and see all those different genres and story elements mixed in together, combined with great music, great cinematography that really highlighted a glorified version of the 60s, as well as mixing in an atmosphere of mystery and dread to itself, especially when it came to like the scenes that took place in modern day. So Maybe Alex will explain it better than I did, but I just really was entertained by all those different things.
Yeah, the movie is it's a I was gonna say fun, but I don't know if fun feels like the right word. It's a unique, interesting take on horror. Both actresses do a great job, kind of doing this. It's an interesting plot, you know. I mean, if you've seen the trailers, it's about one girl trying to, or who's having, you know, these kind of dreams that end up being also kind of real about living in the 60s and following Anya Taylor-Joy's character. And it's really interesting. You know, you said this mirroring thing, and they do a lot with this kind of mirroring of two worlds, and the way they shot it, I really liked, because at times I was sitting there and I was like, okay, they're going this way with it. But in reality, they were actually going this way. And then they kind of went this way. And I enjoyed that quite a bit. I thought it had some good twists and turns. Not the M. Night Shyamalan, what is the twist kind of moment. It's stuff that's pretty easy to figure out, but but you're so entranced with the characters that it ends up working pretty well. I thought all the performances were great. I really like what Edgar Wright does as a director. He always feels like some of these directors, some of these guys who are very good tend to do a lot of the same stuff. And Edgar Wright does he has his style, but he always does something a little different, and he tries to branch out a little bit. I mean, his
Yeah,
last movie was an action-packed heist movie with Baby Driver, and now he's doing this kind of
a love story.
unique
Yeah.
horror movie, and
Hmm.
it's really interesting. It is unique horror with this. Like I was kind of, I left the theater and I was thinking, man, I just watched Malignant. Now I'm watching this, and I'm watching two guys with these two different unique takes on horror that are a bit refreshing. It was refreshing to see this type of horror. I was sitting in
Hmm.
the theater. I don't know if you saw this, but then they put up the Scream trailer for the new reboot or whatever. And I was sitting there and I was like, man, the first Scream is so good, but it's this just, is money grab and whatever. And then the movie gets out and I'm just like, man, this is fresh horror. Let's go see this instead. And it really isn't like slasher horror. It's not, it's a little bit more psychological, but there are definitely creepy moments. But yeah, I had a really good time with the movie. I think the less you know about it, the better. I think you go in not wanting to see much more than the trailer, or if somebody said, hey, I think you'd like it, I think you should go see it. But did you have any negatives of the film?
The one thing that I will say is that while this movie does have horror elements, it's not necessarily a scary movie. It seems like at times he was trying to utilize jump scares, was trying to utilize horror elements that have been kind of played out already, which it just didn't stick the landing for me. I mean, it's not the type of horror movie either that's supposed to be, the jump scare type. It's very more atmospheric, I would say. So if you're expecting that type of horror movie, that probably won't be to your liking if you are looking for that type anyway. And also some of the supernatural stuff and how they I'm trying to find the right word. It's some of the supernatural stuff and how they were incorporated with the main lead, the main character Ellie, played by Thomasin McKenzie. Some of it, especially in the third act, didn't quite work for me. I thought it was, I don't know, for some reason, it just felt like it was it just felt very different as compared to the how they were utilized, how those elements were utilized in the first two-thirds of the movie. Hopefully I explained that pretty well, but I also don't want to spoil anything either. So I would say that those are probably my two big critiques, but otherwise I really came away loving this movie just because of how different, unique, fresh, and like you were saying, Alex, just Edgar Wright is just one of those directors that's not afraid to go out there and do something different. And he always seems to manage to be able to stick the landing on it.
Yeah, I mean, he has definitely lately. My negatives, there was one plot point that I don't want to give away, but I just felt was unnecessary. I thought it didn't add anything to our story. And it was very small and minute. There are a couple things where it is a little bit like hard to believe because they're trying to make it in our today's time, and it's the kind of the way the main character Ellie acts at certain times. So there's a couple moments where it's like, okay, like this is a bit campy. I thought the scares really worked. And my theater seemed to feel those scares. There was some and some nice little yells from some people. But every time they did that, I was usually mouthful of popcorn, just giggling because I love when other people get scared. But outside of those few things, I had a good time with the movie. I think it's a really fun, unique horror movie. That Edgar Wright just, is this one of his best films? I don't know. I don't know if I would put this above Baby Driver or above, the
Scott
Cornetto
Pilgrim.
trilogy, Scott Pilgrim. But I think it's a great, fun movie. I like that he's trying something different. Because some directors really don't. They get a lot of praise and they kind of do something different, but I like his genre switching. I like trying something different. I think that's what some of the best directors really do. I don't know if you've heard this, but did you hear that the name of the movie is a Quentin Tarantino thing?
You mean like his idea, or
Yeah,
what
Quentin.
do you mean?
I might get the story kind of off, but so if somebody knows in the comments, correct me. But I believe Quentin Tarantino told Edgar Wright years ago that because the title "Last Night in Soho" is a song from, I think, 1968, and he said that title is one of the best titles for a movie that has never been made. And that's why he named this movie the Last Night in Soho, which I think is really interesting. It's always cool hearing that from different directors like that. You talk about Edgar Wright switching genres, and then you hear that he's hanging out talking to the master of switching genres and getting to also play in his sandbox with Tarantino. So I just thought that was a neat little piece of movie trivia I heard this week. But
yeah, that's cool. I love it.
You got anything else on this little flick?
I mean, it's good. It's a great movie. Hope people go out and see this. Thomasin McKenzie and Anya Taylor-Joy are fantastic in this. Exactly what I needed. I was looking for a good movie to switch things up, and back to back with this and Dune. Come on, that was great.
Oh, Dune. How good was Dune?
Yeah.
Part 2. Oh my gosh. Dune was so good. I think about it all day. And reading the book, having a grand old time. All right, guys, what did you think of the movie? Comment below. Let us know. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Thank you to the Movie Meal patrons for the support. If you want to be a member of the Patreon, go be the member of the Patreon. I'll link in the description. You can get some of this handy dandy merch. Everything is on sale. We're going to get rid of the summer stuff that was meant to get rid of a while ago, but we lazy. We busy is really what it is. We busy. But hopefully some Christmas stuff coming soon, maybe for some of that merch. Watch out for that. Follow us on everything. And as always, thank you for watching, Mom.
See you guys.